Welcome back, students. So, we are continuing with bricks, beads, and bones. In this third part, we'll be talking about domestic architecture at Mohenjo-daro. So, for the underlining portion, circle this word, the lower town. First, we'll talk about the lower town, then, we'll talk about the citadel, as the city was divided into two parts. So, first point, the lower town at Mohenjo-daro provides examples of residential buildings. That means there were only houses in the lower town. Mostly the buildings were residential buildings. Next point, centered on a courtyard with rooms on all sides. So there is a courtyard in the house, there is a courtyard and it is surrounded by rooms. If you see this figure, this is the courtyard and these are the rooms around it. Now coming to the next point, the courtyard was probably the center of activities such as cooking, weaving, till here, weaving. So that means all the activities in the house were conducted in the courtyard itself. Next point, an apparent concern for privacy. There was no windows in the wall along the ground level. This will continue with the point. Main entrance does not give a direct view of the interior or the courtyard. Now again, when we come back to this figure, if this is the courtyard, this is the main entrance. This is not giving a direct view of the court. When they saw the house, they did not get a clear view of the courtyard where all the activities in the house were conducted. So many times this question has been asked in the exams, their privacy. So this kind of question keeps coming in the exam. One more thing, that there is no window on the ground level. So the walls are not having any windows. The windows will be on the first floor. Okay. Now next point. Every house has its own bathroom paved with bricks with drains connected through the wall to the street drain. So that means every house is having a bathroom and that it is constructed with bricks and the drains are connected to the through the walls to the main street drain. It is trying to say that the drainage system of the Harappan people was very good. Next point. Some houses have remains of staircase to reach a second story or the roof. For example, if you see this picture again, there are staircase to reach on the second or the roof, second floor or the roof. So staircase were also built in some of the houses. Then next point, many houses have to the last line, number of wells. So that means most of the house had wells in them. Now come to the next page, that is the citadel. Now if you see this is the layout of the citadel and we will be talking about various buildings in the citadel. First point, structures were probably used for special public purposes. That means mostly the buildings in the citadel were mostly related to the administrative purposes for the public relation offices. So these kind of buildings were mostly in the citadel. In this, now circle this word, warehouse. This is a very important building in the citadel. See, if you see the figure again, this is the warehouse. So first we'll underline what is there in the warehouse. A massive structure of which the lower bricks portion remains while the upper portion probably of wood decayed long ago. Till here, long ago. So that means the warehouse, the lower portion remains because it was made of bricks. The upper portion which was made of wood, the wood has decayed in these years. So now only the lower portion which is made of bricks is available. Another building which is important in the citadel is the Great Bath. Circle this word. Now when we come back to the picture, see, near the warehouse, there is a building which is named as the Great Bath. Now, what was the Great Bath like? Underline. Large rectangular tank in a courtyard surrounded by a corridor on all four sides. If you see this picture, this is a courtyard and this is a tank and it is surrounded by corridors. On point is there are two flights of steps on the north and the south leading into the tank. See, if you see this picture, on the northern side there are stairs leading into the tank and even on the southern side. Next point, made watertight by setting bricks on the edge and using a mortar of gypsum. So that means the tank has been built with bricks and these bricks are joined together with mortar of gypsum. Mortar means something like cement purpose and in this the material used is gypsum. Next point, there were rooms on three sides, in one of which was a large well. So that means if you see this picture again, there are rooms on three sides of the courtyard and one of that room is having a well. Next point, water from the tank flowed into a huge drain. So that means now water from the tank is going, for example, the tank needs to be cleaned. In that a drain has been constructed in such a way that the water will flow from there into a huge drain which is outside. Now next point, come here. The uniqueness of the structure has led scholars to suggest that it was meant for some special kind of ritual bath. So that means they are talking that people have not understood what was the main motive of building the Great Bath. So now historians think that it may have some religious purpose, it may have been used for ritual baths. So this is what the historians think about the making of Great Bath or utilizing of Great Bath. Now we come to coming to the next topic, that is tracking social differences. First we'll try to see what are the burials which give us a clear view of the social differences between all the people. We will be studying about how the society function. So first point is archaeologists use strategies to find out whether there were social or economic differences among people. This is the first point. We'll continue with this. Then write down here by studying burials. So we will study how the people were buried, what were the rituals they were performing, and through that we'll try to find out that did the society have any differences among themselves. Next point. In Harappan sites, the dead were generally laid in pits. Next point. There were differences in the way the burial pit was made. In some instances, the hollowed out spaces were lined with bricks. Next point. Some graves contain pottery and ornaments, indicating a belief that these would be used in the afterlife. So the people of the Harappa, they believed that they should bury pottery, ornaments. So this is trying to show that they believed in life after death. Next point. Jewelry has been found in burials of both men and women. So that means jewelry has. Next point. In some instances, the dead were buried with copper mirrors. Now, if you can see this picture, this is a copper mirror and this was buried. Next point. But Japanese did not believe in burying precious with the dead. That means the copper was not that expensive. They never buried silver items, they never buried golden items. So cheap items were only buried with the dead. Now coming to looking for luxuries. Now in this, we will start from here. We study artifacts as utilitarian and luxuries. Utilitarian means that which are used in daily purposes, and luxuries are which are very expensive and used on rare basis. So first of all, out here it is written first category. First category, it is talking about utilitarian. So with first category, write this word also in front of that. We will talk about utilitarian first. First point, objects of daily use made fairly easy out of ordinary material such as stone or clay. Next point, include curing, pottery, needles, flesh rubber, body scrubber. After this, come to this, distributed throughout settlements. So all these purposes which were used for daily purposes, and they were distributed in almost all the sites. We are finding these materials in almost all the settlements in the Harappan civilization. Now we come to the next item, that is luxuries. Circle this. Luxuries. Now underline for luxuries. Rare or made from costly, non-local market or with complicated technologies. So that means the items for luxury are rarely found and they are mostly costly, and they are not from the local market. They have been brought from other places outside the Harappan areas, and the technology used for making them is really complicated. Next point, little pots of fan, a material made of ground sand or silica mixed with color and a gum and then fried, were probably considered precious because they were difficult to make. So this is a fan sport, and this material is made of sand or silica mixed with color and a gum, and then it is fried in the fire to give it a better shape. So this technique was very difficult to make, and this is a less kind of activity done by the Harappan people. Now we come to the next page. Come to the second paragraph. Rare objects made of valuable materials are generally concentrated in large settlements like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, and are rarely found in smaller settlements. So these rare items like these are only found in important centers such as Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, and not found in smaller settlements. Next point, gold was rare. All the gold jewelry found at Harappan site was recovered from hoards. So now what are hoards? Come to this. Hoards are objects kept carefully by people, often inside containers such as pots. So what happens in the older time, people used to collect gold, money, whatever coins they had, if they had. So this was all kept in pots. So that when that gold item used to be collected in the pots, so that used to be called as hoards.